Hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to explain a little bit about what this channel is going to be about because I think it's important for an author to always explain what he wants to do before he does it, okay? It really helps people understand what you're talking about. This channel is set up to provide lessons on economics. You see, economics is something I don't think anyone really cares about. You know, in high school, they always want you to learn basic math and basic science. You know, they want you to read a couple of important books that have ever been written, like Huckleberry Finn or Antigone or something like that. They want you to know a couple of historical figures, like Julius Caesar and Joan of Arc. They also want you to know how your government works. You know, they want you to know how many people are in Congress, how many years the president can serve, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that stuff isn't important, but one thing they never want to teach you is economics. And even if you learn it in school, you know what? They're not going to teach you a very good brand of economics. They're going to teach you what the government, how the government uses economics for its own gain. So this channel is set up, and it talks about Austrian economics, and you're going to start to learn about it because the purpose of how I want to explain Austrian economics is that I want you to understand what the government does and how with free markets and how it manages to screw it up for all of us, okay? And this channel is dedicated to a guy named Henry Hazlitt, who is an Austrian economist, and he wrote this book. Okay, of course it's going to show up backwards, not much I can do about that, but it's called Economics in One Lesson. It was written in 1946 by Henry Hazlitt. Now, Henry Hazlitt isn't one of the bigger Austrian economists. This book was pretty much his magnum opus. You think of Austrian economists, if you know what the fuck one is, you're going to think of Ludwig von Mises, you're going to think of Hayek, you're going to think of Murray Rothbard. I love all those guys, and those guys are great, but the one thing I like about Henry was Henry wanted to make the brand of economics accessible to the everyday person by writing this book. This book is very short. The chapters are only about 10 to 15 pages, and most importantly, they talk about things that people actually care about. Now, when Ludwig von Mises wrote one of his books, he wrote it for the economic community and the political community. I'm not saying that's bad. You know, someone had, you know, he contributed much more to the field than Henry Hazlitt ever did, but Henry wanted the average person to understand what economics were and how they worked. And Ludwig von Mises really didn't care about that, neither did Murray Rothbard. And again, that's not the most horrible thing in the world, but I like Henry Hazlitt because he wanted people to understand economics, and that's important. If you don't understand it, well, then what the fuck's the point of writing a book? No one really cares. So I like this book because Henry wanted to make it accessible, and more importantly, he wanted to talk about how economics affected you and me and affected the average person. And so this is why what this channel is dedicated to. I'm going to be giving some of the lessons that Henry gives, and I'm going to be giving some that he didn't talk about because they weren't concerns back then. He doesn't have a chapter on, for instance, socialized medicine, okay, which many people are thinking about right now. And again, this isn't necessarily plagiarism, okay? I'm not stealing his ideas. I'm certainly not pushing them off as my own. And most of the shit I talk about on this channel is, I guarantee you, someone else has said before me. The difference is that not too many people are going to go out and buy Murray Rothbard's History of the Great Depression, or you know, anything Ludwig von Mises wrote, or they're not going to go out and buy The Road to Serfdom by Hayek. And all those are good books, but the average person doesn't want to go out and buy that and read that, unfortunately. So instead of, you know, hoping that you're going to go out and read a book that you're never going to read, I want you to at least understand what Henry Hazlitt wrote, because Henry Hazlitt wanted to make it very accessible to people, and I think that's very important. Again, if you want to go out and buy this book, you know, I'm plugging it, obviously. It's a good book to read, and like I said, it's not nearly as hard as anything else. It was a book that heavily influenced Ron Paul, if you know who Ron Paul is, and if you don't like Ron Paul, well then fine, don't fucking read it, and you shouldn't be watching this channel, by the way. But anyway, so I want to give economic lessons. I'm going to talk about numerous topics that affect you and me, and most importantly, what the government does with our money. And I think that was even a title of one of Murray Rothbard's books. But it's important to understand how the government works, how the government influences the economy, and most importantly, when the government gets too involved, what the problems are. Okay, because not too many people understand this, and I think it's very important that you understand what the government can do to the economy and how it can fuck with your life. So that's very important, and that's what this channel is going to be about. And I'm going to write most of my videos are going to be split between two things: my economic lessons, then my comments on current political, economical problems. Mostly these days, it's probably going to be on socialized medicine, because that's the big debate now. But I just wanted to state what this channel is about, and more videos will be forthcoming.